Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Broken Theory. Today we got the homie Jordan Soul. What's going on?
Yo, what's poppin'?
What's good with you, man?
Finesse, baby.
Just enjoying life, working on music.
Absolutely. So where are you from, bro?
Born and raised in Los Angeles, California.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
And at what age did you start doing music?
Uh, when I was 13, 14, I've been doing it for a couple of years now.
How old are you now?
I'm 16.
Oh, 16. Wow.
Yes, sir.
For sure, man. That's what's up. So you're
Yeah.
a producer as well. Did
Yes,
you
sir.
start making beats first, or did you start writing music?
Like probably since like I was like mad young, like in middle school, I was always writing lyrics for fun. But I started taking it seriously when I started wanting to make beats. Like when I was 14, started on Logic. I think the main thing that kind of started that was like I heard like Donda for the first time, and that was just when my music taste was really like getting serious, and I was like, oh shit, this is something that I want to like fucking pursue.
Yeah,
I don't know
Donda
if
was
I'm
a
allowed to
great
swear and
album,
shit.
bro. Like, I want to say, like, I know everybody's gonna, throw shade at me for this, but like,
No, literally, bro.
for real, Donda is one of Kanye's best albums, bro. At least for me and my experience. You know what I'm saying? It touched me. It touched my family. Love that album, man. Go ahead. I didn't
Bro,
mean to
I
cut your wisdom.
No, you're good. I agree on that 100%, bro. Because like not even the album, but just like the rollout and like everything combined. Yeah, that shit was one of a kind. It turned me on to so many artists, for sure. And that was like one of the first like concerts I've ever been to. I went to the Larry Hoover Drake Kanye one. That
Yeah,
shit
that's
was
crazy.
yeah. I don't think anything can live up to that, bro. It was legendary for sure.
Finesse, baby.
So while you were listening to this album, what were some
Yeah.
of the things going through your mind, like, getting interested into production? Like, what was it that you heard that was like, man, I need to learn how to do this?
Just the variety like that hip hop can be. I feel like a lot of people who don't listen to hip hop or don't take it seriously can kind of underestimate how how many subgenres and how many other genres of music that it all combines into one.
Oh yeah.
Where you got the gospel, vocal samples, or you start off with, some crazy heavy distorted rock guitar. But it's
Mhm.
all under, hip hop, and people just think, oh, it's like rap, 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 but there's you got singers, everything. So I think that album, at least for me, was something that really combined stuff that I liked from all walks of music just into one, and I was like, this is me. This is what I want to do.
So moving forward, what was that
Yeah.
process like? Did you start to buy some gear? Did you start downloading specific plugins? Like, how did it go for you?
Yeah, I first started on Logic because I was learning piano at the time, and this dude at the place I was learning at was kind of giving me some tips. He's basically my mentor now. I'm interning for him. He's a producer out in LA named Tyler Bolton. Shout out to him. But like he yeah, kind of was telling me the shit I needed to do, give me some tips. I still have like the first like piece of gear that I bought. It was like a really small Akai keyboard, like only 25 keys. It was mad cheap. I was just like, this is a good starting thing. So yeah, I
Mhm.
was just making like shit with like loops on Logic, still trying to figure out like my sound and what I want it to be. But now here I am. I'm on Ableton right now. Yeah, like I got an Ableton Push 2 drum machine. That's like my main shit. I love, having a real drum feel and everything where you get to program it yourself with your hands and shit. That's my type of thing. Um, but yeah, I've come a long way, I feel like, just from using loops on Logic.
Absolutely, man. So, what was the process like finding your own sound?
I feel like, aren't we all still finding our sound low key? Like, it takes a while to kind of like, feel like who you are as an artist or a producer. But I mean, I listen to everything from like indie to pop shit, boom bap. So I feel like I like to say like my sound is like alternative hip hop, um, because it doesn't follow like a certain lane and everything sounds different because that's just what I listen to. But yeah, like I like shit that's like moody, like I like the sample based shit. Just, something that people can relate and feel to. That's what I grasp towards.
Absolutely. So when you first started experimenting,
Yeah.
what was a sound that you were kind of like scared to dive in, or like kind of were like reaching your limits to where you started to question, is this really me?
I feel like I was I was like trying to like make like a lot of like trap beats and stuff, and it just wasn't really like clicking with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain type like the hardcore kind of like Playboy Cardi like type of stuff. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
definitely make that, but that's more stuff that I sell or like give to other people, it's a different thing when you're what people like to say like a producer rapper.
Yeah.
You save the best shit for yourself and stuff. I mean, like kind of like how Kanye did when he was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I can definitely make anything, and it's important to like, when someone asks for a type of thing that they want, to always say yes. I feel like in the music industry, it's like yes, and you always gotta keep running with it, even if it's something you don't fuck with, because you can put your own spin on it and it might make something legendary. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, even like with some records, man, it's good to just like take a breather, go live life, come back to it, and
yeah,
listen to it with like open ears. And even if you don't have it, you could send it to a homie, and you never know what they might
exactly.
hear and flip it to. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly. It's important not to get burnt out too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as much as I love music and stuff, it's very easy when that's all you're doing. So, it's important to go outside, you know, take a breather. I agree, bro.
Absolutely. Um, how do you decide when a piece of music is ready to be shared with the world? What's your process?
So, I always start with the beat first, usually. And I make it sound good, mix it a little bit, but I don't do like a final mix until I'm like, this is something that I want to write to or get someone else on. So I usually try to fully arrange the beat and everything, and then I just loop part of it and start writing. It takes me it takes me a while to like feel like comfortable with something, but then I just always remember like you just put shit out, stop overthinking. Um, so then I just kind of focus on the ones that really stick out to me. Um, and I pay attention to the mix and everything because I write, produce, record, and mix everything myself. So it is a lot of work when you're trying to figure out stuff to put out on an EP or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just recently put my EP out called Distant. So I was questioning what kind of sound I wanted to go with, but when you look at it, they're all different. Like each of the three songs are different in their own way, but it's all cohesive work.
Mm-hmm.
I got my last song called Drown on there. It's more of like a moody kind of auto-tune heavy R&B feel, but the first two are a little like boom bap kind of feel. So I think it's something I just make what I like listening to. And when it fits something that I would be like able to listen to like on my own and that I know other people will like, then I'm like, okay, this should go out to the world.
That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, every artist has their own process. For me, I
Yeah, for
kind
sure.
of like, have these like themes in my head of like
Yeah.
what each album should sound like as far as like a vibe. Like it'll probably start with like maybe a track or two, and then I'll
Yeah.
dump it in a folder and be like, this is the name for this project, and everything, that I'm creating, years to come or whatever, just gets dumped in there if it has that certain vibe. And then when it's
Yeah.
ready, like when I have like 20 tracks, I'm like, all right, I'll pull the best seven out of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 man. I think
Absolutely.
yeah, it's also good like a lot of music that's kind of popular, like sometimes it doesn't have like a full like theme, and I think it's important to pay attention to, say you're going for like a really like sad, nostalgic type of feel, whether it's like a
Mm-hmm.
beat tape or an album or something, but then like, you throw in some like crazy hardcore, fast-paced, aggressive shit, like it
Yeah,
doesn't it doesn't like it doesn't feel right. And and I feel like that's also something that I think makes the best artists, producers, musicians
for
is
sure.
when it's a cohesive feeling, but it's
Mm-hmm.
different at the same time. So I think that's kind of the ultimate goal of artistry,
Yeah, because I
is
mean,
to
it's
capture.
different. as far as like, people will put compilation albums out because they know their
Yeah,
fans' attention spans, and like certain people
exactly.
like certain shit from them. So like as an artist, they feel obligated, like I gotta put a little bit for you, a little bit for you, a little bit, you know what
Right,
I mean? And
right.
everybody just add what they like to their playlist. I would say Drake is definitely one of those.
Yeah, I agree.
He
Yeah,
doesn't really focus on the quality of the project anymore. He's just kind of like feeding
yeah,
all the mini audiences. No shade to him,
yeah,
but that's just an example
yeah,
of how people do it sometimes. But me personally,
yeah.
I prefer to listen to the album front to back. You know what I mean? I want to hear how
Same.
the artist created it to be listened to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
even with my homies, like they're like, "Yo, check my shit out." I won't get to it sometimes months until after it's released because I'm like, yo, I don't have a whole hour. I could actually like
No,
sit
yeah,
here
for
and
real, for real.
listen to this shit for real, for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Most of my music that's played, it's like random songs here, 20 minutes here. You know what I mean? So it's like I
yeah,
would do
yeah.
a disservice at listening to your music and not listening to how you created it to be listened. You know what I mean?
Totally agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Totally agree. And I feel like the best, regardless of their popularity, the best artists, um, their strength is creating that cohesive album that the average person can listen to
Mm-hmm.
throughout. And that it's interesting enough, but also cohesive enough to like really maintain someone's attention, but also,
Mm-hmm.
be
But I
some
mean,
wild shit you never heard of. So yeah, for
yeah, I
sure.
mean, we could also use Donda as an example. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man.
Like the people that were really tapped in with
Yeah,
Kanye West, as far as like on a faith level,
yeah,
they really felt that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he came out the gate, Jesus walks. So, people liked him
yeah,
because, he wasn't scared to talk about God in the music industry, which is ran by the
yeah, yeah,
devil. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But, you
yeah.
know, in the same sense, it just kind of hit home for all of those fans because it's like a whole album dedicated to, God and no cursing and stuff like it was just it was
Right,
amazing, bro. The whole family
right.
could listen to it type shit. So,
No, yeah, and,
it's
and
just it's an experience. It's the experience that you provide your fans that lives with them
exactly,
forever.
exactly. And also the thing, like when people are naming, like their top artists, like of all time or albums, I think it's important to name your personal favorite, not not what you think should be up there. If you have like, a really important memory associated with Donda,
Talk that
or
talk.
everyone got their Illmatics
Mm-hmm.
and 36 Chambers up there, which are all fantastic albums, but I want to hear, why you think the Melodic Blue by Davy Keem should be up there, or
Mm.
like the Forever Story by Jid, like
Okay.
all these great albums that I think people are always afraid to put like more recent releases in their top
Uh-huh.
stuff. But if you truly, I think we would all come together as hip hop fans more if we were all unique with our kind of opinions and taste.
Mm-hmm. I
Um,
get it, bro. With that being
yeah.
said, man, I want to ask you your top 5 albums because you sound like you have them already listed, like in your head.
I
You
don't
know.
even know. Shit, where would I start? Damn. I definitely think I'm trying to think of a Ye album. So many. I mean, I definitely got to go with Igor by Tyler Creator. That one's
That was an amazing
incredible.
album.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing, man. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
bro. Yeah,
production wise,
talk about
like,
genre blending.
oh
Yeah,
my
bro.
god, bro. But it wasn't even like rap all the way, and it was really fucked
Exactly.
up that they categorized it like that because it really
As a
wasn't.
rap,
Yeah.
and also like I don't know if you've seen his interview after the Grammys when they put a hip hop artist in the urban field regardless of what the music sounds like, because he
Hmm.
got Earthquake and like Gone Gone Thank You, which are basically pop records,
Yeah.
but
Heavy.
it's exactly, and it's doing a disservice to the community and everything, and I definitely think that should have been up there with best album of the year, even if he didn't win it.
I mean,
um
even with down to the sample selection, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, man.
some of them he was sampling bossa nova. Like, is that
Yeah,
really like I know hip hop we sample everything, but
right.
you know, just because it's hip hop, it doesn't matter how the drums sound. Like that doesn't make the
Yeah,
record. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
don't know,
also
bro.
on A Boy Is the Gun, he samples the same song off of Bound to on Yeezus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a crazy sample flip too. I love when artists, everyone is always about like, oh, they use the same sample and stuff. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're truly a good artist, you can flip it a different way, to make it sound your own. And I
It's a
think
whole new
that's
world.
I think it's so cool when you're like when you see all the different samples like of the same sample and shit. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know, um, like one of my favorite beats of all time is I'm sure you love his beat too, Duckworth on
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
Crazy, right? Ninth Wonder, man. I know I saw his like interview or some shit where he
He
was
had it in an album before that.
and he also realized that there was like a Ludacris song that used the same sample, so he knew he had to chop it differently. And I thought that was super sick that like that's going through his mind
I
and like
mean, me
it's three different.
personally, bro, like as a producer, when I hear that
Yeah,
earbug of the sample, you know what I
yeah,
mean? That like I'm used to. Like for instance,
uh-huh.
that sample that he used in Duckworth. If I hear it, and even though it was using the Ludacris song, I'm
Yeah,
gonna want to steer clear of that because I don't want
yeah,
nobody to know. Like I want, if you know the sample, then you would know I took it from that. But other than that, I don't want you to even know the similarity at all. I want you to
yeah,
see the
yeah,
name and be like, wait, he did what? That's that same
yeah,
song.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the craziest thing is like three different beats. And I remember when like Kendrick's people called them up and they were like, yo, Kendrick wants three beats. And he was like, I'm gonna be on the album three times, but he didn't know it was just for one song. That shit was so tough.
Mm.
Finesse,
Yeah,
baby.
that shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn is definitely up there in one of my favorite albums. Um, yeah, for sure. Are we
Who do
still
you
on the
feel?
favorite?
No, I was gonna say, who do you feel like are your top inspirations for production?
For production, definitely Tyler Creator. I mean, just the soundscape that he builds. He's not just a producer, he's a sound designer, and I think that's like, really what brings his shit to life. Um, Honestly, JPEG Mafia,
Mm.
dude, his new album, I mean, he just keeps getting better, and I think he will be very close to what we consider like a more Kanye of our generation. He even worked on Vultures and stuff. I don't know if you're tapped in with him.
I'm not
Um,
too familiar with his work. I
Bro, you
see his
gotta,
name with a lot of big people,
he's
but it
amazing.
takes a lot for me to just like I said, I listen to albums front to back, so it takes a lot
Yeah,
for me to be like, let me check your whole album out because that's the only
yeah,
way I'm
yeah,
I'm really gonna give you a shot. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I mean like he's definitely super like experimental, and like heavy experimental, not just like, a few weird things. Like there's some crazy shit out there, but yeah, I feel like something everyone should check out if you're not tuned in with him. Scaring the Hose is like a very
With
like
Danny
it's
Brown.
yeah, with Danny Brown. It's
Yeah, I
something for
did see
everyone.
that. I did see that because I fuck with Danny Brown, bro.
Yeah,
So
bro,
I did
definitely,
check that
definitely.
album out. That shit was fire.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. And his new album too is insane. Also, yeah, Alchemist is one of my favorite producers of all time.
Yeah, that's
Um,
definitely top three for me.
just his longevity, bro. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. I got the pleasure of meeting with him one time, and he's just such a down to earth dude who cares about hip hop and music and young creators. So yeah, definitely he's one of my main inspirations for sure.
That's what's up. What do you
Yeah, man.
feel like makes a good song or beat?
I've like the arrangement wise, like there's new sections. It's something that like I feel like it's like a 3 minute song, but it can feel like 5 minutes, because it's
Mm,
just it's going so many places. I feel like those are always my favorite songs.
mm,
Beat switches are always great, catching the listener off guard. Yeah, I feel like just small changes and small like moments that only may happen once or twice in the song, but those small moments and like ear candy are
hmm
just they're so sick because it's like everyone can have. I feel like the best thing is when an album drops and everyone has a different favorite song. That's the best
hmm
feeling as an artist. But also like when each person has a different favorite part of a song, also makes songs great. Where, you know, if you're talking about like pop music, everyone pays attention to the chorus or whatever. But in hip hop, you have so many different more lanes to
hmm
kind of experiment and design each section with like little ear candies or stuff like that. I feel like that's always my favorite shit. That makes me
Absolutely.
like
You
sound
starting to
so better.
sound like Tyler, bro. Like that's a good thing, man. You completely like embodied that. Like I don't know his approach on music, man. It's good.
Thank you, bro.
No problem. Any books that you're reading or any books that like change your life that people could read? You know what I
I,
mean?
I need to read more. I recently picked up The Creative Act by Rick Rubin.
Fire book.
Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
bought that when
I
it
need to
first
finish
came out.
reading that. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to read more. So if you got any recommendations, definitely take them.
I definitely will. I finished the Rust book, the new Rust book. That one was fire.
Yeah.
I got it right here. It was You All Along. That was fire. Um, I feel like the Creative Act, that book,
Yeah.
you need to use it going into a session. Like that's how I've been using it. When
Okay.
I
Okay.
pick that up, like before I'm about to create, I read that and just remember, there are no limits really. There are no
Yeah.
bounds. There are no lines. You know what I'm saying? Just like have
Yeah.
fun with it.
Yeah, there are no
Um,
bad ideas. Yeah, for sure.
but a book that changed my life was Still Like an Artist.
Okay.
It just kind of made me comfortable with like seeing how other people do certain things and just kind of not looking at it like I'm copying them or anything like that. It's just like taking where they left off and bending the lines a little bit. It kind of
Got
helped
you.
me see things a little bit different. So you should definitely pick it up. It's like a
That's
real
dope.
short read,
I definitely
um,
will. Yeah.
and it uses some good examples of like how other artists have copied other artists, and like you would never even know because no two forms of art is the same. So even if you try to
Yeah.
sound like Michael Jackson, when you write like Michael Jackson or you sing like Michael Jackson, you're still not going to be Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
has a
Right.
certain
Right.
way
Right. Right.
down to the cadence and stuff like that. So it breaks it down deeper. But yeah, man, definitely pick that up if you can.
Yeah, that sounds dope for sure.
What sacrifices have you made to get where you are right now for music?
Sleep. I think that's definitely the
Have
main
we
one.
all?
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I feel like I kind of write down any ideas that I have. So I feel like, or whether it's a lyric or like I hear a sample at like, I'm sure you've been like at a restaurant and you're like, this shit sounds crazy, because a lot
Yep.
of restaurants be having that just that old, old kind of like sound, whatever
And then you
beat,
break
having,
out Shazam.
yeah,
You a
exactly.
real one. You got Shazam on your phone, bro.
Yeah,
You got
you
Shazam
got
on
it
your phone, and then you just
on
click it.
the accessibility thing where you just like scroll
Yep.
down. Yeah, I have that. And you put your phone down so people are like, what the fuck is this weirdo?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
just keep it in my hand, bro. I put it to the sky sometimes, like so it's get closer to
yeah.
the speaker. But as
Yeah,
far as for those that don't know, Shazam is an app on your phone that you can have, and like if you're in a random place or you're at a party or whatever, and the song is on all platforms, you just press a button and it will find what song it is. I do it all the
yeah,
time when I'm watching movies
yeah.
and I'm like, what song is that? You know what I
Agree,
mean?
bro.
Like
That's exactly what I
I
do.
pull
TV
it
shows,
out.
movies.
Yep, exactly. And
Yeah,
it's a good way to, you know what I mean, like find samples too.
yeah. And
Because
just
when I
expand your
find,
take.
yep, because when I find people like that, I like to go through at their discography and like see what other works of art that I could pull from it.
Yeah,
So definitely, definitely.
yeah.
What would you feel like is your favorite project that you've worked on?
Definitely I'm trying to work with more artists, but like as it goes for myself, probably my most recent project, my EP, Distant. Does just worked hard on that. 3 songs.
Mm.
That's just like, where my sound is at right now. And I, focused heavily on crafting each one very meticulously. So definitely that. Distant by Jordan Soul on all platforms. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out, bro. For sure, for
Appreciate you.
sure.
Appreciate
Um, how do you navigate those moments when you have creative block?
That's a good question. Creative block, it sucks. It's some people. I don't really like the people that say they don't believe in it because it definitely happens to everyone, in some way, shape, or form. I feel like the one thing that helps me is not forcing it. If you're really not feeling like you don't want to create and stuff, then don't, because you're not gonna like anything that you make, if you're really in that
Mm-hmm.
zone. one way that I've gotten back my creative motivation is just listening to your favorite songs. You know, create a
Mm,
playlist of the stuff that made you want to create and
mm.
revisit that every time you don't want to. I feel like that's something that really like there's been times where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this and that. And you just throw on, you know, whatever album it is, whatever artist.
What's your one song that reminds you why you started creating?
Definitely New Magic Wand by Tyler was a great one. Because it's just like that song is just like all over the place and it's just like
It's
sparks.
experimental as fuck. Yeah, I loved it too.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Definitely anything by Tyler or Kanye, just like because I feel like I always gravitate towards the artists that produce their own shit too, because that's where
Mm.
I'm trying to be at. So those two guys definitely um are what, you know, kind of remotivates me. And it's important to, you know, have artists like that you know really care about that mean a lot to you that you know will get you out of a rough place. And I think everyone kind of has that, even if you
Yeah.
don't make music, you know, people
See,
people use music as a guide to find themselves again, so for sure.
100%. See, I'm a little older, so
Yeah,
the one that I look up to is Pharrell,
yeah,
and
man,
you know, Kanye and Tyler are both at the school of Pharrell. Like, you know,
exactly.
it shows in their production,
Yeah,
the way that they go after the same chords that he uses and stuff like that.
yeah,
But it's dope, bro. It's dope to see other artists get inspired by other artists. You know, it's a good thing. That's what you're supposed to
yeah,
do as a creative, push the culture forward.
yeah.
Um, what would you say is your biggest investment in music?
not not to sound like cliche, but time I think is the most important investment, you know. um, just working on your craft, spending hours and hours on end.
10,000
Every
hours.
literally, I got a poster up in my room. The Kanye quote's like 5 beats a day for 3 summers. You know, have that work
Mhm.
ethic. I feel like you know the most important investments don't have to be about money or anything because there's plenty of fantastic artists who who came up with no money whatsoever and they just
Mhm.
spent time. So I feel like time is your worst enemy and also your best friend in music. You know, if you don't waste your time and you spend it wisely when you want to create, if you're motivated, just make
Mhm.
stuff, you know. Not overthinking. I think just like a lot of young artists, you know, that's definitely something that we all battle with. I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve and kind of, you know, recognize habits and everything, but definitely take advantage of the time that you have to create.
Well, you're coming from a wise place, man. Like for 16, you know, most artists
Yeah,
that are starting, they're really not thinking like that. Um,
yeah.
what kind of helped you develop that mindset, especially when approaching music?
I feel like being in like a really like rough place mentally, you know, in my past, kind of embarks maturity and kind of, you know, recognizing the things that really matter. So I feel like having having bad shit that happens to you really can spark that. I know like it's not the best thing in the world, but I definitely think the best growth and maturity comes from hardships and you know pain that we go through. So that's definitely something that kind of led me to where I am, you know, mentally, spiritually.
Nah, that's what's up, man. I definitely can appreciate that, man. And, you know, I hope the younger generation takes a little bit of notes because
Yeah,
most people don't have it all together. You know what I mean? Like, I look at this shit like we all babies. You don't know nothing about music. You know, there were people
yeah, yeah,
here before us. There were people that
yeah,
were here
exactly.
before us. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming through on the podcast, man.
yeah,
I just
man.
want to
Thank you for
ask
having
you
me.
if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would you tell your younger self when you first started making music and why?
Um, Probably don't don't underestimate your value and don't, I mean, I didn't give up, but don't get down on yourself for making stuff that you don't like, you know? I feel like we all grow from the stuff that we make. And, I remember just creating a bunch of like bad stuff and just being like, this isn't for me. But I feel like um, I would tell myself that like just keep doing and stop thinking.
Mm.
And I think that's my message to everyone who's younger than me too, because I know a lot of people who like started even younger. So, there's a lot of competition, especially in the hip hop world with, people who are just starting really young. So definitely just just go, I think is an important message for anyone.
Absolutely. I agree, man. Just get your feet wet with it.
Yeah,
100%.
for
But
sure.
hey, I definitely thank you for stopping by. Is
Yeah,
there
man, of
anything
course.
that we should be on the lookout for? Any
Uh, I'm
projects
working
coming
on
up?
I'm working on an album. Don't got a title for it yet, but check me out on all platforms. Jordan Soul. I'm on Instagram, jordan.shanley. That's JORDAN.SHANLEY. Check me out. Um,
Amazing.
talk to me. Let's collab. Anyone. Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate
No
you.
doubt, no doubt.